it is time to get started. Hey, welcome to At The Track Live. I am Coach James. I'm the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics, you ask? Glad you asked, even if you didn't ask. All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics-related topics, including, but not limited to, friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic energy, elastic force, a range of topics. After we have covered all of the science topics, after we have conducted experiments to drive home all of those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the course. After they have selected their cars, they take a picture of their cars, they shoot a little video of their cars, they weigh their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, the materials the car is made of. All of the information they can observe, they enter into a spreadsheet, and after they've collected all that information, the only thing left to do is set up a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip and race the cars. They race the cars, we have a little tournament, and they observe how their cars performed. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that car again, or would they make a different choice based on everything they've observed? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, All About Aerodynamics, you can visit our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram at aaAerodynamics, and all of the information you need is in the bio, and you can contact me to see how to bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about aerodynamics presents At The Track Live. So, what is At The Track Live? Well, before I can bring in all those cars for the students to use, I have to make sure that I have cataloged them, that I have made sure that I know exactly which cars I'm bringing to the students for them to use, so that I can bring those cars back, have them in exactly the right place, and ready to go for the next group. And I end up buying more cars than I put into the fleet officially. And to put a car into the fleet means I have to take a picture, I have to shoot a little video, I have to enter the car into a spreadsheet, I have to give it a number, I have to create a label, I have to put it in a case right with that specific number. And all of that was pretty boring work. So I came up with the idea for At The Track Live, where each week I go into storage, get a handful of cars, crack those open, we take a look at them, do a little review, I get my picture, I get my video, and then, since our track is already set up, might as well have a little race and see which of the new cars is the fastest. But wait, there's more. You have the opportunity to participate, because all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live. When you do that, you will have 3 options. One's the YouTube stream link, one's the Twitch stream link. The third option, the most important option, is the option that says choose your car. Once you choose your car, once you select that option, you will be taken to this page where you can choose your car. Because all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics At The Track Live fleet are listed, numbered, cataloged, organized. They are all right here. You can scroll through and find the car that you think will be faster than the cars that I introduce this week. And all you have to do is when you find the car, let's say you think it's this Ferrari 250 GTO. That's the car that you want to go with. You think that's the car. You can click on it. You can check the reflection in the mirror to see this one appears to be a metal body on a plastic base. Some of our cars are metal on metal, some of the older cars. And some are plastic bodies on metal bases. I don't believe that Hot Wheels makes or has any plastic on plastic cars. That's usually something for the cheap knockoff set. But here we go. Whatever car you want to pick, you select it. So once you find the car, each car is numbered. So in this case, 98. So you would take that number, 98. You would drop it into the chat. And then I would go to the chat. And I will pull that car. And that is that. You are officially entered into today's competition and today's tournament. And if you happen to select the car that is the fastest in fleet today, you will get to take on our real fastest in fleet car, our champion, the car that has won the tournament the previous week. And this week, for the second week in a row, we have a new champion. And our new champion is this car. Let me switch over here so we can get the official view. It is this one. It is the Arkham Asylum Batmobile. And we have, I believe I said this was our 17th Batmobile in the fleet. And it ended up beating out the Mercedes-Benz 500E, which had just the week before become our fastest in fleet car by beating out the Blitzspeeder. And the Blitzspeeder had only been back in fastest in fleet, the fastest in fleet position for about, for just a couple of weeks, because it had been beaten by the Dogfighter. The Dogfighter was beaten by the Slide Kick. The Slide Kick was beaten by the Blitzspeeder. And then the Blitzspeeder went on for a few weeks. And then it was beaten by the Mercedes-Benz 500E, which kind of came out of nowhere. And then last week, this Batmobile, another car that kind of, I don't remember what I said my expectations were for this car. I think I was a little surprised, because usually we want cars to have a lot of surface area at the back end pressed up against the launching block in our launcher, because our launcher, there's a block and the cars press up against it, and that's what pushes the cars out initially. And for a lot of cars, if they don't have a lot of surface area pressed up against that launching block, they can get questionable launches. And especially cars with just a single point of contact, like the Batmobile right here with this point. The point of this kind of wing, this fin coming off the back, is the only part that touched the launching block. So I didn't really have expectations that this was going to be all that fast, because I didn't think it was going to get a consistent launch. And what happens when cars don't get consistent launches is they go to one side or the other. And if they go off to the right, they'll hit the right side of the track. There's going to be some additional friction with the wheels scraping up against the side of the track. But we get Isaac Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And after they hit the right side, then they bounce over to the left, and then they bounce back to the right. And it's just a constant kind of back and forth motion. And every time they hit one side or the other, there's a little bit more friction. And that little bit of friction is working to slow the cars down. And that's what I thought we'd get with this Batmobile. I thought it would get inconsistent launches, and it would probably bounce around, so my expectations weren't that high. But once we launched it, this thing took off, and it blew out the Mercedes, And this Batmobile is probably our first Batmobile to be a fastest in fleet car. We have 17 of them, so 17 other Batmobiles tried, or 16 others tried and failed. This one, and actually I don't know if all the other Batmobiles have actually raced on the track, but nevertheless, this is the top dog. This is the fastest in fleet car. This is the champion. This is the car that all the cars today will be shooting for. And whatever car you pick, that's the car that you'll be shooting for. Hey, Roughshod and Moritz. I think that's how I'm supposed to say it. Moritz. Hey, how you doing? So I know Roughshod has picked a car. Christopher's picked a car. Everyone else has an opportunity. You still have time. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select the choose your car option, and you will be on this page. Find the car that you think is going to be faster than the cars I introduced, and we will throw you in the tournament and see if you're right. There are cars from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, some cars that were just released within the last few weeks. I was at the grocery store the other day, and it was, well, we don't have Kroger out here, but the equivalent is Ralph's and another place called Food for Less. And they had a Kroger display that they had just dropped. And I guess I was I know I was a little late because it was one of those ones that's like the square cardboard thing, and the cars are kind of lined up in individual little cubicles. And I could tell I was late because the cars had clearly, somebody had gone through them and they were all over the place, and it was kind of a mess. But it's always fine for me because I'm not looking for the treasure hunt cars, and I think that's usually what happens when people are going through the bins like that, when you see them kind of brand new and all scattered. Maybe they're just looking for cars and just putting them back sloppily. I don't know, but usually they're looking for the treasure hunt cars, the premium cars, and I'm not looking for those. So I was looking through there, and it's a good thing that I kept my spreadsheet because I was looking through and just seeing cars that I liked, and I picked up it at one point or another. I probably had about 6 or 7 cars. And then I decided to actually open up my spreadsheet on my phone and look and see which cars I actually had. And I had probably at least 5 of the 6 cars that I had picked up. So I only bought, there was one new car that I will be introducing. Some of the others I ended up leaving on the shelf. But then one I bought, again, I like this car a lot. This Cadillac Project GTP hypercar. And so I think the one, the first one I got about a year ago or so, that's in the fleet is yellow. Or no, maybe it's black. Yeah, the first one I got is black. That's the one that's in the fleet. And then I bought a yellow one. And now I just saw this red version. And I just like this car. I thought when I bought it, I thought this car was going to be really fast. Turns out it's not. It's kind of heavy, if I remember correctly. All this red part is metal, and yeah, it just wasn't. Excuse me. Yeah, it just wasn't. Didn't live up to the expectations, but it's a cool car. And so there's certain cars. The Blitz Speeders, I just end up buying those. Ford GT40s, I buy those. And this one, I just wish it was faster, but hey, wishing isn't how this works. We send these cars to the track, and how they turn out, how the race turns out is how it turns out. But I did finally go into storage, because what I've been doing for the last few weeks is going to the store, buying cars, and then bringing those cars back, and we kind of introduce those right into the fleet. That's how this Batman, that Arkham Asylum Batmobile, got in, because I just picked it up. The point of AtTheTrack.live is for me to go back into storage and get older cars, bring those in, and then kind of take the newer cars that I buy, put those at the back of the line. So those shouldn't be introduced until I've gone through the old cars. Anyway, today I finally went back and pulled out some of the older cars, and we got some good ones in there. Some very good ones. Plus, there's going to be something in today's race that I don't think has happened since we've been doing At The Track Live. So we'll get to that. Hey, Christopher. I got your pick as well. Another thing that I've been working on that I mentioned on Wednesday was creating the new video racer. And I have, there's some videos on the channel that you may or may not have seen where I've been experimenting with different bases for the video racer, because months ago, I think at this point, we used the Hot Wheels video racer, and it was the battery wouldn't hold the charge. The camera was pretty low resolution because it's about 12, 13 years old at this point. So I went online, found this spy cam, which is, it's got a little camera in there. It's supposed to look like a USB, like a flash drive. And it has a camera right there. That little square part right there is the camera. And it's the right width and size. So all we had to do was find a base to mount it on. And we've been going through, and I ended up with finally 7 different bases. And there's the Formula Solar, which is this one, which we hacked kind of to pieces. And that was the point with this, is to just find a base. And then you can get an up-close view of these 3M, these adhesive kind of fasteners. It's not adhesive, it's just the fasteners. And kind of put these together in a weird little way to so that we could attach the camera. And so basically, this is how the camera will attach. Let me back this out just a little bit. This is how the camera will attach, and it is how we're going to run it down the track. So we're trying out these different bases. So this one, the Formula Solar and the camera attached, it weighs in at 62.7 grams, which is pretty heavy by the standards when we just race the cars, but for this project it's okay. Then there was this one, the Bricking Speed, which we didn't have to really do any modifications, just take the Lego parts off the top, add in the little tabs for the adhesive, throw that on there, and that one weighs in at 63.9 grams. There is the Bricking Delivery, which is the delivery truck version of the Bricking Speed. Same thing. All we had to do was just take the Lego pieces off, throw on the little adhesive fasteners, and this one comes in at 64.6. So it's only slightly, it's not much of a difference in weight between that one and the Bricking Speed car. This one was the modified version of the GoPro, that zoom in car that they created to hold the GoPro. I think it was the Hero 10 or maybe earlier, but that little cube version that they don't make anymore. So all we had to do was just slice off the sides so that it would fit on the track, throw on the little adhesive tabs. This one with the camera on top, this one comes in at 73.8 grams. So this is by far the heaviest, and it's probably because the bottom is all metal, and it's pretty big. So there is that one. Then this one we really hacked up, the Turbine Sublime. This is probably the one that we did the most damage to. Chopped off the roof, the interior got gutted, and a little bit of the hood, just all that on the interior. Just took everything back all the way to the little posts, threw on the adhesive tab, and this one weighs in at 67.2 grams. And that is what that is right there. Then, of course, we had the skate grom, which is definitely the kind of the leading candidate. I think the one that will probably do the best, but that one weighs in at 59.9 grams. So it's the lightest, and it was the lightest until this last one. What we did was take the base from the original Video Racer, which is here, flip it upside down, throw the, get this on here, put the adhesive or the fasteners on the top, and because this is not, even though it's the Hot Wheels Video Racer base, it's not really a Hot Wheels car like the others, so this is all plastic. This base is plastic, the wheels are plastic, and so it's very light, and with the camera on top, it only weighs 45.7 grams. So this is absolutely the lightest car. I don't think it's going to be necessarily the most durable, but we don't need it to really be durable. We just need it to make it down the track. So all of those cars are the ones that are in contention, and the only thing that's left to do is see which one is fastest. So I have set up a track that has a speedometer. Actually, it's got two speedometers attached to it. But the trick has been trying to find the camera set up so that I can get it all lined up. But I was expecting to do it the other day, but didn't quite work out. And I'll show you a little preview. I don't know how this is going to look, but let's I realized that, see, that's one of the setups that I'm working with, that I'm testing out, and I have the other microphone for the track setup so you couldn't hear. But basically, what we were looking at there is the camera view. I'm going to switch that over to the speedometer track, and that's what you'll be able to see. But that chart that was on the left, it's a table that I created. So you put the names of the cars. I'll put the names of the cars in on the left side, and then we'll run them through 3 times. And each time they'll get the speed comes up. They'll go in one of those cells on the table. And then what it does is it will take the average of the speed and put it in the 5th column. And then it will take whatever speed that is in the 5th column, multiply it by 64, and then it will give us the scale speed. So I'm gonna put these cars through and figure out which one's the fastest. Whichever one's the fastest will be our new Video Racer base. So I expect to have that all worked out sometime this week. So there is that. Let's see. So the speedometer, I have 2. There's 2 speedometers that I have. One is just a radar gun that I bought off of Amazon that is supposed to be used for, I guess, like Little League pitching or something. And it's just something you can have at home to test the speed of your pitches. And I think there's a couple other sports that it's used for. So I kind of took that apart and built a stand and angled it down so it catches the car speeds. Then I have one that's even more accurate, which is, I think they changed the name to Cook's Timers. And he may be in, I want to say Australia, somewhere overseas from here. And it's a little 3D printed box that sits over both lanes of the track. And then it has sensors on the inside. So when the cars pass through, there's a little display. And it gives very precise speeds and measurements. And so you can plug it into a computer and get all kinds of statistics. So it's kind of cool. And it will, like I said, I just have to get the camera and the screen set up correct. And it's been a little bit of a challenge, but I think I'm almost there. But anyway, once I do that, we will put these cars through and see which car is going to be our new video racer. So that's just something that's coming up. Hey, Beyblade. We are ready to take a look at some of the cars that are going to be trying to challenge the Arkham Asylum Batmobile today for the fastest in fleet title. And the first one, I will start off with, excuse me, the car that I should have put in the back, but it's one, whatever. I picked up at the store, and just the other day when I was looking through the little Kroger, Ralph's Food for Less thing. By the way, if you have Ralph's, Kroger in your area, if you buy, the little promotion is if you buy $20 worth of cars between now and whenever it ends, you send in something, proof of purchase, and then you can get some new car that is out. But it looked like a premium car with rubber wheels, so I'm not particularly interested, but you never know. All right, here's the first one. This one, it's this station wagon called the Gone Mad. And it says, born 2024, El Segundo, California, designer Hot Wheels. This 50s inspired wagon is tricked out with a wild mega speed makeover. Its vintage tail fins scream style, while the low stance, arrow wings, and fuel injected turbo V8 fuel this dynamo through breakneck racing action. So this is it. And it's cool, and it's another one of those cars that I'm gonna open it. But I really wish I would prefer it in a different color. I don't like this kind of muddy, muted gray blue, but I like the style of this car. But when they come out with one that's like red or yellow, if it's orange, it's definitely getting in. But any other color, sort of a brighter color, I'll definitely pick it up. But for right now, this is the one we've got. So let's crack it open. The Hot Wheels digital speedometer. Oh, yeah. I have one of those. That's what I used to use. I have a couple of those digital speedometers. And the problem is with those is that, so you send the card through and a number comes up. And the number might be 422. It seems very random. But it's not necessarily tied to anything. So, I don't even know if I did a video on that one, but essentially when I got the real speedometer, I would race it and I would get a speed, and then I would run it through the Hot Wheels digital speedometer, and the numbers, they never matched up. So I don't know that the Hot Wheels speedometer was all that accurate. I have two of them, and yeah, they don't make them anymore. But I do have some, and that's kind of where the idea to create a new speedometer system came up. Let's see. So this car weighs in at 34.8 grams, and let's go ahead and check it. All right, Beyblade, I see. Okay, you've got pick 79. We'll take a look at that car right after this. Let's see what this one This is the Gone, focus it in, right here, Gone Mad. And I like this one, a little compact, because we've had station wagons in the past, but they've definitely been bigger than this, sort of longer bases than this one. So let me go ahead and grab my little video here as we enter this one into the spreadsheet. It is, yeah, I mean, it's a nice compact station wagon. The back end is flat. And let me move this camera there. Get that out of the way. Yeah, it's got that flat back end. I think that should be pretty good. That the windows on the side are open, but I don't know, I don't know how much that's going to play a factor. It's also got like a sunroof opening there in the back. It's definitely a different kind of design. It has a huge frontal area, which we've seen when we put the cars in the wind tunnel, that is not necessarily what you want to see. It's got a big splitter at the bottom, and there are some small openings, but not so much that it looks like the air is going to have an easy time passing through. But we will see. Let me check. Now the packaging said 2024, and the bottom of the car says 2025, which is why I always have to check. All right, let's get this still picture of the Gone Mad. I think this is another of those cars that if it just had some more detail added to it, if they had maybe painted the headlights, that color just is not, it just does not help it. I don't like it. It's not working for me. But I just think there's something to this, and the good thing with these Hot Wheels, with the fantasy cars, is they are going to come out with another version, and it's going to have a different color scheme. And so if you don't like it initially, all you have to do is just wait, and they will take care of you and give you something probably more to your liking. Let me turn this a bit. And we now have the Gone Mad is our 953rd car into the fleet. And we are one car closer to finding out which of these cars is going to try and take down the Batmobile. Let me get this light plugged in. There we go. All right, we've got the Gone Mad. Next up, we are going to a car that is one that I pulled out of the older storage, and it is this one, this Hot Wheels KITT Concept car. So we do have the Knight Rider, the original KITT car, Trans Am is in here. I don't think we have this one, but I'm going to double check. Hot Wheels KITT Concept. Let's see. HW. No, we have a Hot Wheels Braille Racer and Hot Wheels Pursuit, so it would have been right in there. Okay, great. The Knight Rider cars, so we have the original, then there is, I believe there's a Super Knight Rider edition that has everything, the bumper and the tail and all that expanded for when, if you ever watched the show when KITT, the car, went into, it was like hyper speed mode or chase mode or super pursuit mode. That's what it was, super pursuit mode. Then the car just expanded and had wings and all this and like took off. Well, this is a Hot Wheels concept, and it says born 2021 in El Segundo, right down the street. Upgraded from the original series classic car, this custom kit has drone technology and bulletproof glass, polished inside and out. It's ready for any mission ahead. And that's what we've got. And baby, yeah, the Knight Rider cars are cool. I think that original KITT Trans Am is, I think when we raced it, it was a little narrow. And I think that is something that kind of didn't work to its advantage at all. But let's see what this one is all about. All right. Yeah, okay, this one's interesting because it kind of feels heavy, but we're gonna see. I think this is gonna be in the 40s. 42 is my guess. I'm so far off. 34.6. Let's take a look at it close up and see. All right. So I can see now why it's actually lighter, because so this part of the body, the the hood, this part is metal. This windshield, the door panel, and all the way back to here, all of this is plastic, all of this. And then there's some metal right here, the fender, the bumper. So I guess that's clearly why it is a little lighter. I like the look of this car. Let me put in the lighter background so you can get a. Yeah, I didn't know there was a new Knight Rider, but it makes sense because they redo pretty much everything. So, is it like something? Maybe it's probably everything's on streaming. Maybe it's on streaming. I just don't remember it. How many years ago was it? Let's see here. All right, we've got our KITT Concept car, and let's. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Knight Rider. The funny part is all the stuff that KITT could do when the show first came out, now doesn't seem as special because we have so much technology that kind of does all those things. Wait, Val Kilmer was the voice of KITT in the new show? Because I know in the old one it was that guy from the guy who was on Magnum PI, the little guy. I forget his name, but there were a couple of shows he was on. Let me get to the video. And let's get our Knight Rider video. I need to adjust this. Yeah, see, I've been making adjustments to the camera for the other, for the scale situation, and it's kind of thrown off some of the camera positions that I use here. Okay, so maybe this one. So I guess there was a new show, but then this car wasn't a part of that. This car was just the Hot Wheels kind of concept car. But I guess if they did make one a few years ago, I'm curious to know what kind of car they used. Like, did they base it around, like, I don't know, whoever had the light, maybe Mustang this time, or a Corvette, or did they keep it because they don't make Trans Ams anymore? So, what. Oh, okay. So in the newer version of the show, they used a Mustang for KITT. Interesting. And then Hot Wheels made this. So I wonder if is there a version of is there a Hot Wheels version of the KITT that they used in the TV show? So I know we have the original one, which is the Trans Am. Then we have this concept version. I wonder if Hot Wheels made one for that show. Maybe it wasn't around long enough to get one. Hot Wheels KITT Knight Industries 2000 concept. And then they had the other one. It was Car. KITT and Car. Car was the evil one. And then at one point, I remember they had like a semi truck that had missiles and guns and all that, and blew up the original Knight Rider car, the original KITT. And then they came back, and I think that's when they came back with Super Pursuit mode and all that, all those other gimmicks. But yeah, I loved Knight Rider. All right, so we've got the Hot Wheels KITT concept car. It is lighter than I thought, but it's funny. It feels big. Goliath, man. Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of those old episodes. KITT concept car. That is. It's funny because this car feels bigger. It feels wide and it feels heavier than it is, but we've got the numbers. We know what it weighs. 34.6 grams. All right, let's take a look and see which car it is that I will be pulling later that Bay Blader has decided to go with. Let's see. We are looking for car number, I think it was 79. And that is this one, the high voltage. Okay. 79, he's going with the high voltage. I guess I was thrown off a second because Roughshode's pick is the voltage spike. But this is different. Okay, the high voltage. So I will be pulling that later. Take a look at that car. I'm curious to see what the back end. It looks like it's kind of rounded off like a Beetle, but we will see. We will check that car out. Okay. Next up, I pulled out a whole bunch of cars. And some of these I know that we already have in the fleet, and they're not going to get to stay. So this dragster, this supercharged, I am kind of, if I was certain, you're either certain or you're not certain, but I'm kind of certain that we have this. Supercharged, yep, car number 872, so this is the prize car. Let's see, this one, we have to have raced one of these before. This Rockin Railer. And we have a Rockin' Santa sled. I think I probably held off on this one because it's just an open wheel car. And all the open wheel cars are always one bad launch away from becoming forky with the busted axle. I'm really kind of shocked that we haven't raced this one. Doesn't look like it. All right, you know what? We're gonna go with this open wheel situation and just see how it all turns out. Let me double check. No, we only have the Rockin' Santa sled, so I guess this one's up. Here we go. It is the Rockin Railer. Take some of these other cars and Sit these down. We are, yeah, let it fly. We're going to see. This is, this one was new in 2023. Oh, on the back it says, inspired by rail dragsters of the 60s, this speedster is always rocking as it goes from 0 to 100 in 0.8 seconds. It will leave competition in the dust while the exposed front engine rocks from side to side. Uh-oh. So this is a gimmick car. I don't know how... Oh, they just put it in there very loosely. All right, first let me check the weight. The Rockin Railer comes in at 29.7 grams, so this is very lightweight. And let's go ahead and take a look at it. This is a gimmick car. And what is the gimmick? The gimmick is that the engine is just kind of loosely put in there, and so it just bounces. It will be bouncing back and forth as this thing goes down the track. The good news is there doesn't seem to be... Uh-oh, well, let me check. Oh, man. Yeah, it is. So look, right here, you can see that little tab right there. That is what is going to hit the engine every time it comes around, and that is going to make the engine sort of bounce back and forth. See, it's got that little piece right there, and when the wheel comes around, that tab is going to hit it, and it's going to clip it just enough, and that's what's going to make this thing bounce back and forth. And now it's only on one side. The problem is, every time it does that, every time that happens, it's creating a little bit of, well, not a little bit of, it's not the friction, it's slowing the forward momentum of the car, because it's got to click that little tab, and it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be something that slows this car down incredibly, but it's going to slow it down enough that it will make a difference in a close race. But if this thing smashes into the barrier, it won't matter at all. But we're going to see what happens. I really need to adjust this. This camera angle is not working out today. All right, let's see. I will just back the camera off just a little bit. Kind of an extreme jump. Well, it may not matter in the end anyway, because the Rockin Railer, if it ends up like Forky, then this will be a one and done situation. But I don't think this car, especially with that little tab, is going to really need to worry all that much about what happens down the line. This will probably be the first and last time that we take a look at the Rockin Railer. But you never know. Let me enter it into the spreadsheet, because this is now car number 950. Oh, wait, I didn't put the... Oh, yes, I did. Right there. And here we go. Put this car number 955. And it's back to that situation where it's got the small point of contact. But we saw with the Dogfighter, we saw with the Batmobile, that just having that small point of contact doesn't necessarily mean that the car won't do well. Typically, cars don't do well, but there are exceptions to the rule. And this is a good looking, I like the look of this car. I don't like the little gimmick with the back wheel and the engine, and I'm very nervous about the fact that it's an open wheel car, and we will see how that all plays out. But for now, the Rockin Railer is in the fleet. It is going to be one of the cars that gets a chance to step up and ultimately face the Batmobile. And like Roughshod said, we might end up with Batmobile versus KITT. It might be a fantasy supercar situation. And we now get this still picture. We have the Rockin Railer in the mix. But something that a matchup that might be even more intriguing than Batman versus KITT might be this next one, which would be Batman versus Robin, because I went in and pulled out the Teen Titans Go Robin car, and I have a whole box. I realized I have a whole box of these kind of special premium cars, the ones with the plastic wheels, character cars mostly, and pulled this one out. And so we might end up with Batman versus Robin. Oh, if I clip... Yeah, I might... You know what? I might do, since that Rockin Railer is one of the ones that I think I still see those in the store. I might buy one, clip off the tab, and then that's another sort of race. Like when we had the Blitz Speeder convertible version versus the Blitz Speeder with standard, just to see what difference it made. Yeah, I might definitely do that. That's a good idea. Let's go ahead and crack Robin open. Now the thing with these character cars is they're usually heavier. But let's see. This one doesn't seem to be too heavy. Coming in at 27.1 grams. I mean, we're getting lighter and lighter. The Rockin Railer was 29. We're at 27. This is interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let's take a look at this Robin car. And there it is. Teen Titans. They do a really good job on these character cars, and finding the theme of the character and really bringing that to life in the car form. And we've got the Robin car right there. Teen Titans Go. And it is at 27 grams. This car is light. I mean, very light. And so it'll be an interesting matchup if it does end up going against the Batmobile, just because it's so light. I don't know if we really kept a record of the lightest car to become our fastest in fleet, but thinking back, none of them have been all that light. They've been pretty much standard Hot Wheels cars within the usually between 32 and 36 grams, but we've had some just a little above. I don't know that we've had too many below. So yeah, under that, between the splitter and the bumper, I didn't look when it came around the first time. Gonna have to check and see if it's open or if it's closed. That could make a difference. This is the Robin car, and they got Titans Go on the back. When they put their effort and energy into these cars, they can make them look really good, versus that Gone Mad where they just kind of threw on some muddy blue paint and called it a day. This one, they've carried the theme. They got the little Robin logo. They've got all the callbacks to the suit and the mask, all of that. This is a great little car, and even the cape is the tail. Let's see. I guess it would have helped if I had actually pressed record, which I didn't. So as we'll get to take one more look at the Robin car, and I think that splitter, I think it doesn't open. I think it goes right down. That green part sort of comes down and goes right across the front of the car. So it does have a bit of a little larger frontal area, but it's so light, and it's a little, I want to say it's wide. It's wider than cars that are usually this light. When we start getting into the mid 20s, the high 20-gram cars, they're usually much thinner and lighter. Like the Rockin Railer is a perfect example of that. And I didn't check the year on the Rockin Railer. It is 2022. Put that into the spreadsheet. It's just another piece of information and data. Okay, so we've got the Robin car. We have the Hot Wheels KITT Concept car. We've got the Rockin Railer. We've got the Gone Mad. We are moving right along. We are also going to add in, let's see, I pulled out, we might as well go all out on these character supercars. I pulled out another one, which is the Namor Wakanda Forever car. I don't know if this is based on, because sometimes they'll take these character cars and they'll just take an existing Hot Wheels car and put some different styles and decorations on it. And this may end up being a car that we already have, but let's go take a look. The Namor. All right, let's see, what car is this? This is the... So, at least it's not another car, at least not one that I recognize. It looks to be unique. So, let's go ahead and check the weight of this one first. This one is very cool. 37.6 grams. Let's go over here and take a look. So the first thing, here I'll switch to this view a little more close up, is the bottom, that translucent blue plastic. Obviously this is a water-based character, so that's very cool. Nice look. It's got the gold on there, matching up with the character. So let's go ahead and drop this here, and I will grab that video. Yeah, this is a good looking car. I like that gold. I don't have too many cars that have that gold, and the gold with the light blue. I like that. So let's go ahead and put in car number 957, which is the Namor. And on this Robin car. Oh, okay, so the Robin car, the splitter, is it can move up or down, which we'll take a look at in just a second. I like that back tail light. So this one, once we get past just like the looks of the car, the back end is flat. It's got that kind of smooth transition from the hood to the windshield to the roof line. There isn't too much of a drop off from the back of the roof back to the bottom of the car. The frontal area it's not huge, but it's also not small. It does have this splitter in the front that doesn't seem to have any kind of openings around the sides, so that is just what we'll have to deal with. Now on this Robin car, let me show you this. So the splitter can go down, and if it goes down, that's what you're looking at. and then up, sort of this is what we're looking at. So it's really just a matter of, I think if it's open like that, the possibility is that it'll trap more air, allow more air into that area. So I'm thinking it'll roll, we'll roll with it up and should deflect some of the air beneath the car, I would think. So we'll keep the splitter up on the Robin car. This Namor car, let's see. So that splitter doesn't move. This car was 2022. So that is our latest entrance. That is a nice looking car. Yeah, the Namor. And right now, I think if I had to pick, this is tough because that Robin car is so light, but is it too light? That is the question. We know that the light cars, when they get toward the back end of the track, they do start to slow down, and there's no getting around that. But we will see. All right, next up is going to be a car that we've talked about the last couple of weeks, at least a couple times in the past 3 or 4 weeks. Because I was asked about my favorite Hot Wheels car, and I showed it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something unprecedented. I'm going to pick this car and put it in. And it is the car, my favorite Hot Wheels car, the original one that I had back in the 80s. And it is this one. It is live from the playgrounds. This is the Torino Stocker. This is the, it's got gold Hot Ones, these wheels, and it is beaten up, but it is ready to race. And the axles are straight, and because the axles are straight, and it's a Hot Wheels car, it's going to be in the mix. And this is the oh yeah, I didn't weigh it. Let me see. Let's see what this car weighs, because older cars tend to be heavier cars. But this one only comes in at 35.3, so it's not even the heaviest car of the day. And it is, I don't think I have raced it. There is one in the fleet that I bought to replace this one, just because this is mine, and I didn't want to take a chance that, something happens to it while I'm, doing something with some of the kids. So there is another version of this, but this is the OG. This is the original 1980s whatever I was playing with, and it's been put through a lot, but it is ready to go. And we are going to have this car in the mix. So it's I think this is probably the first car that I've ever picked personally to put in the race, because usually I'm just trying to get through the cars that I have in storage. But this is one that we're going with. So we have the Torino Stocker, which is this one. We have the Gone Mad, the Hot Wheels KITT Concept car, the Rockin Railer, the Robin car, and the Namor. So I think we're good, and now we'll take a look at the cars, the viewer-picked cars, but I need to go and pull Beybladers, which is car number 79, that high voltage. So I'm going to go pull that car, and then we'll take a look at the viewer picks, and then we will be ready to hit the track with this kind of big, interesting lineup. The race lineup right now is already very, very interesting, very intriguing. But once we add in some of these other cars, it's going to be even more so. So, all right, I'm going to hit this little bathroom break music. It's not going to take me 5 minutes, but I'm going to go grab that car and come back. We'll take a look at those and then hit the track. All right, let's take a look at the first car. Move those out of the way. Which is this one, the high voltage, which you can't see because it's green. And check the weight. The weight is 35.7 grams, which is not too bad. And it is right at that top end of what we have traditionally considered to be the sweet spot, which is between 32 and 36 grams. But we have had cars recently, that Mercedes-Benz 500e, which were outside of that range and still did well. And this car is compact. I think this would be a good matchup against the Robin car. They just seem, they're both compact, I guess similar kind of feel for whatever reason, even though this one is significantly heavier. It's not overly, it's not huge, it's not a, the car isn't too heavy, but compared to the Robin car, which is, I think, what was 27 or so grams, this car is like massive. But I also think, I want to see if this is one of those cars that has the glow in the dark. Oh, I guess there's way too many lights on. I think this car, the wheels glow in the dark for a little bit. All right, so we've got this one. This is the high voltage, and that is Beyblader's pick. And then we have Roughshods pick, which is the voltage spike. And the voltage spike is weighing in at 29.2 grams. So that is very light. We've got, this is probably the most, the highest number of cars we've had in the 20 range racing at one time. So that should be interesting. This car has a lot of plastic on it. The purple part is the only part that's metal. The silver part and the gray parts are all just plastic. It's got that giant, I don't even know what to call it, this thing at the back, this kind of attachment that's part bumper, part diffuser, part whatever this is. It's got the splitter, at least the splitter is pushed up, which I think that's the way to go. I mean, this one's not adjustable, but if you just have a preference and a car has a splitter, I think having it pushed up is definitely the way to go. There's some openings in the front there so that you can kind of see the light, so the air should be able to pass through without too much disruption and interference. We had this car in the wind tunnel, and with the fantasy cars, it's a little hard to tell definitively what we're going to see and what we're going to get, but this one is light and should be right at home with these other light cars that we have today. So the voltage spike. And then Christopher, he picked a car that it may be the sleeper, because it is a car, it's this Ford Fusion, and when you just kind of look at it, seems like just a basic car. I wouldn't really expect all that much from it, but when we put it in the wind tunnel, it had a good aerodynamic profile, very, very good, very solid. Oh, let me check the weight. The weight on this one is 32.4 grams, so it's, you know, right in the sweet spot range, and I just think this is a good just a solid pick. It is narrow though. This car is very narrow. It might not, you know, you might not be able to tell right now, but when we get it on the track, the way you can tell is that obviously there's going to be some space to the right and left of the car, and as long as this car stays straight, it should be fine. If it gets, as narrow cars tend to do, if it gets to the side and starts bouncing back and forth, that's going to kill its momentum, and that is going to hurt it in the end. But for right now, pretty good looking car. I like its chances as a sleeper. And that is going to be the car that rounds out the fleet. So now we are ready to go to, and let me check the Batmobile, because we were so used to the Blitzspeeder for so long that I just knew the weight, that the Batmobile weighs in at, the Batmobile is 29.6. So that's the thing. We've had the Mercedes-Benz, which was outside of the sweet spot on the top end, and now we've got the Batmobile, which is outside the sweet spot on the lower end. So the Batmobile's in the 20s, the Robin cars in the 20s, the Rockin Railers in the 20s. So the voltage spike is in the 20s. We might have, this might be the new look for going into the end of 2025, beginning of 2026. Lighter cars, maybe there's a new sweet spot. Maybe that has to be adjusted. We'll see. So when we go to the track, in case this happens to be the first time you stumbled across this video on YouTube, and this is the first time you're seeing a all about aerodynamics at the track live drag race, here is what you were about to see. You are going to see our 3-camera view. The cars are going to start at the top of the screen on the left in the launcher. I'm going to give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I'll hit the switch. The cars will come firing out of the launcher. They will come from top to bottom. They will pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left, then show up at the top of the screen in the middle section of our track. The cars will come from top to bottom. They will pass out of the bottom of the screen in the middle, show up at the top of the screen on the right, and they will come from top to bottom. They will cross our finish line, and the winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light indicates the winning car. A flashing red light indicates the losing car. The races are best 2 out of 3, and the cars switch lanes after each race. If a car happens to crash, no problem, that happens, and we simply throw out the results of the race, line the cars up again, and rerun the race. If the same car crashes twice consecutively, then it's disqualified, because if a car crashes twice consecutively, then there usually is some problem with the car that is not going to be solved by just rerunning the car down the track. And we will move on. If a car crashes but doesn't leave the track, then that's just bad luck for that car and whoever picked it, because that means that car just lost the race. So if your car is going to crash, you want it to crash and leave the track. Don't just crash and leave the track. If you're going to do it big. And that is pretty much that. So I'm going to gather up these cars. We are going to hit the track, and we are going to find out which of these cars is going to challenge the Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition. I will see you over at the track in 30 seconds. Okay, let me just go in here and double check the audio. 1, 2, all right, audio is working. We are good to go and get these races underway. Cameras are all okay. Battery situation that we had a couple of weeks ago has been resolved. It doesn't look like we're going to need the taller cover today, but we'll keep it around just in case. And let's see, we've got a good lineup of cars. Let me make sure this. Oh man, well, it looks like. Hang on, I'm just checking to see if this Knight Rider car, this KITT, fits. And oh man, it is a little wide. It felt wide, but the fenders on the front are kind of flared out just a little bit, and they're pressing up against the sides of the launching block. So we'll race the car just because we've got it out and it's here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to allow this car to remain in the fleet, because if a student picks it, they're at a disadvantage because this car just is too wide. It doesn't fit in there. So let's give it a shot and see what happens. Now it's possible. I mean, I know what will happen is the launcher will have enough force to push this car out. That's not going to be the problem. The problem is going to be the friction that happens when the car is pushed out, and it might even crash because the splitter is so low that it's catching the lip of the track. So I don't know what's going to happen. All right, let's throw this in against we'll go Namor. No. Actually, I'll go Rockin Railer, since this KITT car is probably going to. Oh, you know what? Those tabs on the wheel, just as I'm looking at it, the tabs are on both wheels on that Rockin Railer. So I would have to cut both of those off, which I will do if I pick another one up in the stores. So this race, we've got the KITT car in lane 1. We've got the Rockin Railer in lane 2. We'll see if the KITT car can even make it out of the launching block. But here we go. Race number 1. KITT, lane 1. Rockin Railer, lane 2. 3, 2, 1, race. I don't know. Why do I even bother making predictions and saying anything? The KITT car was wedged in to the launching block. I knew that the launching block had enough force to push the car out, but I figured that the friction would slow the car down enough that it just wouldn't you know, be fast or competitive. And what happens? Of course, it's the opposite. It comes out, blows out the Rockin Railer, which was gimmicking its way all the way down the track with that rattling nonsense with the engine shaking back and forth. I mean, I guess it's cool. It's a nice little thing, but it's just no good for racing. You don't want anything to prevent the wheels from freely rotating. That's the last thing you want. So the KITT car, shockingly, came out. Now it beat the Rockin Railer. Maybe the Rockin Railer is just really slow. I don't know, but either way, a win is a win. So the KITT car is getting wedged back into the launching block. And at least we know it's going to be straight. It's too wide to be anything but straight on this track. So we are going to go with race number 2. We've got KITT in lane 2, and we've got the Rockin Railer in lane 1. Here we go, race 2. Three, two, one, race. That KITT car blew the doors off the Rockin Railer, but the Rockin Railer doesn't have any doors. So whatever it's got, it got blown off and blown away. But I will say this, as a positive, the Rockin Railer did not crash. So that's a plus. It kept its axles intact, and it did not join Forky and the great Hot Wheels Beyond. So that is that's a plus. So we'll put the Rockin Railer to the side, and I'll have to remember, if I pick up another one, buy it, cut off the tabs, and we will see what a difference that makes. All right, next up, we're going to go with the Robin car against the High Voltage. Those cars, I had them kind of locked in as somewhat similar. So now we're going to see which of these somewhat similar cars is going. Now, the High Voltage, which is in lane 2, did have, I think it weighed like 35 or 36 grams, whereas the Robin car was down around 20 something, 29, 26, something in that very low area. So we've got the Robin car in lane 1. We have the High Voltage in lane 2. Beyblader versus Robin. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Oh, look at the High Voltage. Is it going to tap the starting block? Yes, it did. Uh-oh. You know that's trouble. That's trouble for the other cars. So the High Voltage came down the track, flew down the track, beat the Robin car, and then was like, you know what? That's not good enough. Hit the barrier, bounced all the way back, and rolled all the way back and tapped the launching block. Only the fastest cars do that. We saw the Mercedes-Benz 500E is the last car that we had do that, and it did it multiple times, and it became our fastest in fleet champion. And as it was doing that, coming back and tapping the launching block, that's when we started to get early indications that this car was special. And maybe Beyblader has found yet another special car that could be our fastest in fleet. But it's got to win another race. So we've got the High Voltage now in lane 1. We've got the Robin car in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. See, the High Voltage slams into the barrier and leaves the track, but at least it left the track. Robin is down there having completed a pass, but that apparently is just a practice pass because we have to reset these cars. And let me make sure the finish line sensor didn't get out of alignment. All right, let's go back, set these cars up, and see what we've got. I mean, these cars, I do need to do some touch-up paint work on this barrier. It's wood, and it's painted, and it's painted blue. but the blue part has been chipped off, and there is exposed wood where these cars have, I mean, just slammed into this thing without any regard for the safety of the fantasy operator. Okay, we've got the Robin car lined up again in lane 2. We have the high voltage lined up in lane 1 and race 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. High voltage was pulling up on the Robin car at the end, but the Robin car held on long enough to take that race. The high voltage car, once again, bounces almost back and almost taps the starting block, but the Robin car held on. And it's one of those things where you could see the Robin car, which is our lightest car, starting to slow down at the back end of the track. That's why it looked like the high voltage was catching it. And the high voltage almost, if there'd been another, couple of feet of track, the high voltage absolutely would have caught the Robin car. But there aren't a couple of extra feet of track. There are only just over 20 feet of track that we've got. The 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip. And we now have these cars switched up. We have the Robin car in lane 1. We have high voltage Beyblader's pick in lane 2. And this is race number 3. So here we go. Three, two, one, race. That was close, but here comes the high voltage. Is it going to tap? It taps. Okay, high voltage moving on. That was a good competitive race. So now we've got the high voltage having moved on. We have the Robin car, which did well. It's a lighter. It was the lightest car of the day. And it did well, but only one can move on. And that is the high voltage. All right, next up, we're going with my Torino Stocker. We're going to put that in there against the Mad Fast. And we're going to see if no, not Mad Fast, Gone Mad. Gone Mad, the station wagon, versus my Torino Stocker, my favorite Hot Wheels car, the original car. It's got to represent for the original 80s cars, and it's got the gold Hot Ones wheels. We're going to see if that can help it pull out a victory after years of being run on the cement, on the blacktop, on the playgrounds, on various Hot Wheels tracks, sent off of jumps, crashing all over the place. It has now made its way to our track. It is in lane number 2. That's the Torino Stocker. And we've got the Gone Mad in lane 1, new to the fleet. Here we go. Race number 1, Torino Stocker, lane 2. Gone Mad, lane 1, race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Oh, that was close. I had to look at the lights to see which car took it, but as you can see, solid red light indicates the winning car, and the winning car in this case is the Gone Mad. And we are going to switch lanes and see if my Torino Stocker can force a third and final race. It's going to have to come through in a big way, but that race was close, so that could have gone either way. Any little thing could make the difference, and we are going to find out which car is moving on. This is the One of the few cases where I have a rooting interest. And I'm looking for this Torino Stocker to get the job done. Torino Stocker is now in lane 1. The Gone Mad is in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Get it. Aha, let's go. All right, the Torino Stocker pulls off that victory, and we are now going to a third and final race. I like this. We're getting off the good solid starts in the races today. Going to a third race. We had a surprise in the first race with the KITT car that was too wide, and then we had a 3-race showdown, and now we're going to our second 3-race showdown. The Gone Mad is going to be in lane number 1, and my Torino Stocker pulled out of the classic case is in lane 2. This is race number 3. Torino Stocker lane 2 and Gone Mad lane 1. Race 3, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Oh. And the Gone Mad takes it. The Torino Stocker put up a good fight, but it could not get the job done. And it is now set aside for one of our newest cars to the fleet, the Gone Mad. And we will be looking at our next matchup, which is going to be, we're going to go with the Ford Fusion against this Namor car. So the Ford Fusion, Christopher's pick, it's a very narrow car. It had a very good aerodynamic profile, and I think there's a possibility it could be a sleeper car. It's just a matter of if it can stay straight on the track, because it's so narrow that there's a possibility that it starts bouncing around the track, and if that happens, that friction is going to work against this car. The Namor car is very wide, and it's not as wide as the KITT car where it's wedged in, but it's wide enough where there's not going to be a lot of room for it to bounce around the track. So the Namor car is more likely to stay straight, but we're going to see what this Fusion can do. So here we go. Fusion in lane 2, Namor car in lane 1, race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Wow, that Namor car was fast, and as you can kind of see, I'll show you in this camera. You see here how much room this car has. Like, it's so narrow that there's a lot of room, so it can turn this way, scrape up against and bounce back and forth, and that is just not what you want to see. Whereas the Namor car, that's the extent that it can turn. And see, that's a lot. That's a big difference. So with this narrow car, it needs to stay straight, right in the middle. This Namor car is not likely to bounce around, and it's going to get much better, much more consistent performances in terms of its movement down the track. But we will see what happens when we switch lanes here. And when we switch lanes, we will be putting the Namor car in lane 2, the Ford Fusion in lane 1, and just got to get this Namor car lined up. It's a good looking car. It's a really good looking car. And all right, and and looking at it, they have two. One, it's kind of there's gold. There's some metal on there that's painted gold, like more of a yellowish gold, and then there's some that's more of a copper kind of bronze. So they even mixed up those colors. Really nice car. All right, lane 2 Namor, lane 1 Ford Fusion, race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one. Okay, I had an itchy trigger finger and jumped the gun a bit, but the outcome was the outcome, and the Namor car blew the doors off the Ford. And so now we are down to a good crop of cars here. But we have one more viewer pick that has to race, and that is going to be the Voltage Spike, which was Rough Shot's pick. Wait, did I put the... Let's see. Yeah. The Voltage Spike. And the Voltage Spike is going to take on... Well, let me get the Namor car off the track. The Voltage Spike is going to take on the KITT car. And we'll see if this wide body Knight Industries 2000 can keep up its the momentum. And we're going to put the Voltage Spike in lane 2, and the KITT car is going to be in lane 1, wedging itself right on in there. And here we go. We've got Voltage Spike lane 2, KITT car lane 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. That Voltage Spike pulled it out, but not by much. And you don't have to win by much, you just have to win. But I'm still surprised that that KITT car, after being wedged in the starting block, or the launcher, comes out and is that competitive in these races. I can only imagine how fast this car would be if it wasn't this wide. And because it's the metal part that is making it too wide, there's not really anything I can do in terms of modifying this car to make it fit. If it was plastic and it was just the plastic fenders that were the issue, I would probably just file those down and clip them off so that this car could race and get better shots. But it is what it is. The Voltage Spike has taken the first race and is now lined up in lane number 1. The KITT car, lined up in lane 2, needs to take this race to force a third. Here we go, race number 2. Three, two, one, race. The KITT car just couldn't hang on to that lead. It had a slight lead, but the Voltage Spike caught it, and I really think that if that car didn't have those limitations with the width, that it might be moving on. But if and could have, would have, should have, don't matter. What matters is who won. And who won was the Voltage Spike. So we're down to Namor, the Voltage Spike, and the High Voltage. So we're going to go Namor versus High Voltage and see which of these two is moving on to the finals against the Voltage Spike. This might end up High Voltage versus Voltage Spike. Interesting. Let's see. Get these cars lined up. This Namor car, which again is one of the best looking cars I've seen in quite some time, is in lane 1. And lane 2 is the High Voltage. And we are set up. High Voltage lane 2, Namor lane 1, race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh, here comes the high voltage. Is it going to tap for the third time today? It is. The Batmobile might want to be on notice because this is this high voltage has consistently run down the track and come back and tap the barrier, which indicates it's moving at an extremely high rate of speed for these cars. And it is now over in lane 1. We're putting Namor in lane 2. And this is race number 2. Namor has got to step up, but this high voltage has been putting on a show. So here we go. Race number 2, high voltage lane 1, Namor lane 2. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. That was much closer. High voltage wins. Is it going to tap for a fourth time? Yes! High voltage could be a problem. It's got one more race to win. It is going to be high voltage versus voltage spike. And we are going to see which of these cars is going to move on to challenge the Batmobile. This high voltage, I don't know what led Beyblader to pick it, but it was definitely a hot pick, and we are going to see, can this car just finish off the job, or is the voltage spike going to have something to say about this final outcome? We've got the voltage spike pressed up in lane 2. We have the high voltage, trying to get it situated. High voltage in lane 1. High voltage has hit the final barrier, come back and tapped the launching block 4 times today. That is probably a record and indicates that car is really moving. But here we go. We've got the voltage spike in lane 2. We have the high voltage in lane 1. Race 1. This is the finals. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Ooh, voltage spike takes it, even though the high voltage comes back for a 5th time. Taps the barrier, but it doesn't matter. That's not the race. The race is who gets to the other end first. And the voltage spike did it despite the speed of the high voltage. So we're going to our second race. Let's go ahead and switch lanes. And this voltage spike just needs to take this one race, and it will be moving on to face the Arkham Asylum Batmobile. So the voltage spike is in lane 1, and the high voltage is in lane 2. This is race number 2. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. High voltage takes it. We're looking at time number 6. Taps the launcher. We are going to race number 3. Now the high voltage, the first race was close. High voltage lost. The second race, high voltage won by a lot. And we're going to see in this third race what happens. Both of these cars are fast. High voltage though, we've never had a car that has come back to tap the launching block this many times. It's up to 6 times. But all that's going to matter is, can it beat the voltage spike to the end of the track? This is race number 3. This is the finals. We've got the high voltage in lane 1, Beyblader's pick. We've got Roughshod's pick, the voltage spike in lane 2. Race number 3 for the title. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Are we going to get a 7th? Oh, came up just short. But that was a good race. The voltage spike just didn't keep up its momentum in that last third of the track. And the high voltage took the race. And the high voltage is today's champion, our tournament winner. And it is going to get a chance to take on our fastest in fleet car, the Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition, which won that title of fastest in fleet car last week after taking out the Mercedes-Benz. So the Mercedes-Benz was a one and done champion. The Dogfighter was a one and done champion. The Slide Kick was a one and done champion. So can we get the Batman Arkham Asylum Edition? Is it going to be one and done? Is the high voltage going to be the new car? Did Beyblader just pick a diamond out of the pack? We are going to find out as soon as I can get this thing to stay put in the launching block. We will find out. The high voltage car is in lane 2. The Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition, unlikely champion because of 1, because of its weight, and then 2, because it's only got the 1 point of contact with the launching block. So it's a lighter car, and it only has the 1 point of contact, which is typically not been a good thing for these cars. But we're going to see. We've got the Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition in lane 1. We have the high voltage in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Fastest in fleet title on the line. Three, 2, 1, race. Woo-hoo-wee! Now here comes the high voltage all the way back near the starting block, but the Batmobile, oh wow. I mean, the Batmobile took off to a lead and did not look back at all. Wow. The Batmobile, the real deal. We are going to switch lanes. I don't know. I mean, that was a thorough beating, and the thing is, it's not like the high voltage got a bad launch or anything happened unusual, but it just got crushed. And if that happens again in this race, man, this Batmobile, even though we know that this high voltage car is very fast, it's a very fast car, but apparently this Batmobile is faster, at least in that first race. We switched lanes. We've got the Batmobile in lane 2. We've got the high voltage in lane 1. This is race 2. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Here comes the high voltage all the way back. I noticed the high voltage seems to what it does is it maintains a high rate of speed through the back end of the track. Now it lost to the Batmobile, but it was closing the gap. And I think that's what we're seeing is that with most of these cars, as they start to slow down toward the back end of the track, cars with better aerodynamic profiles tend to not lose as much speed toward the back end. So I think this high voltage, while it's not, I mean, it's obviously a fast car, it was keeping up its momentum a little more, and it started closing the gap on the Batmobile, but the Batmobile was out to such a lead that it didn't matter. So let me grab these cars up, head back in the garage, take a look at what we saw today and what's coming next. All right, be back in just a second. So this is what we got. This is exactly what we got. Where we started is where we're finishing up. The Batmobile Arkham Asylum Edition is still our fastest in fleet car. It was just dominant, and the high voltage was a fast car and had a good aerodynamic profile, which is what I was saying. The fact that it was able to maintain, enough speed to hit that barrier and bounce all the way back and tap the starting block shows just how much force it was going through and hitting the block with the barrier at the end of the track and coming back. And in that last race, what we saw is at the end of towards the back end of the track, it was closing the gap on the Batmobile. The Batmobile had a huge lead by the midpoint. And when it got to that last third, by the time the Batmobile was crossing the finish line, that high voltage had closed that gap. But it was not enough. And we know that the Batmobile is a light car. It's 29 grams or something. And so light cars tend to be impacted by drag towards the back end, meaning that they end up slowing down a bit. The Batmobile did slow down a bit, but it had already built up such a huge lead that even when it slowed down, it didn't matter. And that high voltage, which I think we're going to have to put this in the wind tunnel on Wednesday and take a look at it. The high voltage held its own, and until it got to the Batmobile. So, but in those other races, we had some really good races. That voltage spike, high voltage race, that was one of the better races I've seen. Went to a third and final race. We had, what other cars performed well? The Gone Mad took out my Torino Stocker, but it was pretty close there. For the old school Gold Hot Ones edition car. And the Mad Fast, I am going to have to look for another version, clip the wheels, and then we'll come back and have that Mad Fast, the Rockin Railer. We'll have that matchup where we see what kind of difference did the little tabs actually make. And then there was the matter of this car, which it was a surprising performance after we found out the kind of physical limitation. And this Knight Industries 2000 Hot Wheels Concept Edition, it was, lock this in, it was basically these fenders right here in the front. They doesn't look like much, but they definitely do flare out just a bit, and they're just wide enough that they scrape against the launching channel. And so what happens is this car is wedged in there. So when the car gets pushed out, there's friction of the walls of the launching chamber rubbing against this part of the car, and then the car gets pushed out. But this car still did pretty well. It won a few races, but I think if it had not been for that, we may be looking at our new champion. But the problem is these kind of fenders right here, and because this is metal, it wouldn't be easy to kind of shave these back and not damage the wheel. So this car is just how it is. If this had been plastic, I would go in there and actually cut this back so that the car could fit. Those are really the only modifications I ever do to the cars, is just making a modification so that they can fit on the track. But that car did well. But at the end of the day, we are still talking about our 17th Batmobile, the Arkham Asylum Edition, and I don't know what car is going to beat it, but you're welcome to try. And let's see. Roughshod has already got his picks, his next set of picks locked in that he'll be considering. We'll throw those cars in the wind tunnel. Let's go ahead and take a look. He's talking about car number 185 and car number 221. And that pick, I don't know how Beyblader decided on the high voltage, what he saw in it that made him think, yeah, this car is going to compete. But it was definitely a fast car. And until it ran up against that Batmobile, it had one of the pretty much the most impressive feat as far as hitting the barrier, bouncing back. It did it 6 times that we've had a car come all the way back, tap the launching block. So that was impressive. All right, let's see. Roughshod's going with 185, possibly. That's one he's considering. This one. This Mercedes AMG GT. Now, this one is an ID car. So it's one of those cars that Hot Wheels made, like premium car all the way through and through. But because it was supposed to work with the ID track, it has plastic wheels. So that is why I love the ID cars, the ID car line, and I have a bunch of those. This is one. So we will see this car in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, the Mercedes AMG GT. And let's take a look at car 221, which is the other that he is considered. Well, actually, let me write that name down. Mercedes AMG. All right, and then he's considering car 221, which is right here. Oh, he's bringing back the slide kick. This is maybe the 3rd time that we've seen the slide kick. One time it was not successful. The next time it took the title and then turned around and lost the title. And now it's coming back for another shot. And let's see. This is the slide kick. Will it be able to complete its story? I don't know. But we are going to see. We pretty much know what we get with the slide kick. And if we put that up against this Batmobile, I mean, if it made it to that point, that would be an interesting matchup. With the slide kick, the thing with the slide kick is the slide kick lost to the Dogfighter. No. The slide kick beat the Dogfighter, which beat the Blitzspeeder, but then the Blitzspeeder beat the slide kick. The Mercedes-Benz 500E beat the Blitzspeeder, and this Batmobile blew the doors off of the Mercedes. So, in that kind of chain of logic, you would think that this Batmobile would be faster than the slide kick, but we've had cars that have come back. The Blitzspeeder's a car that came back and won a title. The slide kick came back, won a title. So can it do it again? That will be the interesting question if Roughshod happens to go with the slide kick again. So that is the lineup that we've got. And on Wednesday, we do Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, and we take these Hot Wheels cars and put them inside of the Funtech Labs 1/64th scale wind tunnel called the Winsible. And we're able to kind of look at the aerodynamic profiles of these cars and get a better sense of how drag is going to impact these cars when they're racing on the track. And it's not always exact, but it does a pretty good job of giving us an idea if a car's got a decent aerodynamic profile or if it's a car that should probably be avoided because the drag is going to be too significant. And there's different factors that come into play. So like the weight of a car matters, but you won't know the weight until we get to race day. But the wind tunnel test is pretty much a good indicator of performance, because if you look at the results we see in the wind tunnel and then you look at what happens on the track, then you can kind of really start to see a little bit of a correlation between the cars that do well and their aerodynamic profiles. So we will be putting those two cars into the wind tunnel on Wednesday 4 p.m. on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Still got to build up some followers on TikTok, because we can't go live on TikTok unless you have a certain number of followers. So I need to do a little bit more on that. We have a new promo video that was made by a friend of mine, which is promoting AtTheTrack.live. So you'll start to see more of that. I think I just posted it yesterday, and we're going to boost that up and try and get the word out to more people. But right now, I mean, I love racing these cars. We had a good set of races today. Got some new cars introduced into the fleet, and found this Rockin Railer gimmick car that gives us a reason to conduct another experiment, which is find one, clip off the tabs, race the cars, see what a difference it makes. And yeah, we will be back here next week, Saturday. Beyblader, Roughshod. Yeah, see you. For All About Aerodynamics, for AtTheTrack Live, and for Wind Tunnel Wednesday. I am Coach James, and until next time, I will see you at the races.